The story begins in Italy. We see a gangster named Lorenzo driving to his winery with his son. Lorenzo uses the wine business to launder his black money. When he arrives at the winery, he finds his men have been brutally murdered. Lorenzo spots one of his men who is terrified. He tells his son to stay in the car, grabs his gun, and gets out. Lorenzo's man tells him that the person who mercilessly killed their people is inside. Following this, Lorenzo and his man head inside. Inside, bodies are scattered everywhere. Lorenzo is shocked, wondering how one person could kill so many people alone. He then sees a man sitting in a chair. This man is Robert, the one who killed all of Lorenzo's men. One of Lorenzo's men has a gun pointed at Robert's head, but Robert shows no fear. Lorenzo tells Robert he can't believe he killed so many people by himself. He asks how Robert found this place and what he wants. Robert replies that Lorenzo stole something that wasn't his. Robert advises him to return the item. Lorenzo retorts that while Robert made it in, he'll be leaving in a body bag. This angers Robert, who gives Lorenzo 9 seconds before he will kill him. As the time runs out, Robert suddenly attacks Lorenzo's men, killing all 3 in an instant. He then shoots and kills the injured Lorenzo. Robert takes a key from Lorenzo's body and walks outside, where he sees Lorenzo's son. He tells the boy to stay quietly in the car. As Robert walks away, Lorenzo's son shoots him from behind. Robert doesn't harm children, so he just tells the boy to run away. The injured Robert gets into his car and drives off. A short distance away, he passes out on a highway in Sicily. A local police officer finds him and, seeing his condition, assumes he was attacked by gangsters. The officer takes Robert to a doctor he knows to save him. We then see Dr. Enzo, who removes the bullet from Robert's body and treats him. Sometime later, Robert regains consciousness. Enzo tells him a police officer brought him in and asks if he is a good person or a bad person. Robert replies, "I don't know." He tries to get out of bed, saying he needs to go home, but Enzo insists he needs to rest. 3 days later, Robert's condition improves, and he leaves Enzo's house. Enzo gives him a cane to help him walk and suggests he could explore their small town of Sicily. Robert decides to walk around the town. He finds a cafe and sits down for a coffee. Robert first lays tissue papers on his table, as he likes things to be clean. The waitress, Amina, brings him his coffee. At that moment, a man named Gio enters the cafe with his daughter Gabriella. Gio asks about Robert's well-being and gives him his car keys, saying that what happened to him isn't something that happens to ordinary people. He adds that he doesn't want to ask questions and hasn't checked the items in Robert's car because he doesn't want to know who he is. Meanwhile, at a CIA office, an officer named Emma is working on her computer when she receives a call from Robert. Robert tells her about Lorenzo's winery. Emma asks who he is and why he's helping them. Robert claims he's just a concerned citizen and urges her to send a CIA team to the winery immediately. Emma realizes the man she's talking to is no ordinary person because he found Lorenzo's hidden location, which the police had failed to do. After giving Emma the address, Robert hangs up. Emma uses a satellite camera to view the winery and informs her superiors. The next day, we see Robert strolling through the town, befriending the local residents. At night, while trying to sleep, Robert is haunted by memories of how he ruthlessly killed everyone at the winery. This prevents him from sleeping and leaves him deeply troubled. The next day, Robert goes to the cafe and sees the owner giving an envelope to a young man. This young man gives the envelope to another man named Marco. It appears Marco extorts money from the local people and harasses them. Amina approaches Robert and they start talking over coffee. Soon, Amina and Robert become friends, and the townspeople start to get to know him. One day, while walking through the town streets, Robert sees Marco in a man named Angelo's shop. Marco is demanding protection money from Angelo, but Angelo's shop isn't doing well, and he has no money. Marco beats him severely and says he will be back next week to collect double the amount. As Marco leaves the shop, he notices Robert. He stares at him but says nothing and walks away. We then see Marco and his men going to the city of Naples, where his older brother, Vincent, lives. Vincent is a major gangster in the area and everyone fears him. Vincent is sitting inside an apartment telling the owner he wants to buy it. The owner refuses to sell, so Vincent's men kill him. Vincent then meets with Marco and tells him to extort as much money as he can from the people because he is planning something big. Meanwhile, Robert visits Angelo's shop to buy fish. Amina arrives and shows him how to pick the best fish. When Robert tries to pay Angelo, Angelo refuses the money, saying, "You are our guest. so we cannot take money from you. Next, we see the winery, where Emma and her team have arrived. They find a large quantity of drugs and a lot of Lorenzo's black money. Emma's boss, Frank, is stunned and wonders why they never knew about this place before. Frank tells Emma to find all the details about her informant, as he might have more information. Meanwhile, Enzo checks Robert's wound and tells him he has fully recovered. Robert asks Enzo why he and Gio didn't report his gunshot wound to the police, as it should have been a police case. Enzo reminds him, "I asked if you were a good or bad person. You said you didn't know, and only a good person would say that." After this, Robert packs his things to leave. As he's going, he sees all the townspeople running and learns that Marco's men have set Angelo's shop on fire. Seeing his shop burn, Angelo is devastated and tries to run inside, but people hold him back. Robert sees Marco standing with his men. After witnessing this, Robert decides he will not leave town until he has sorted everything out. The next day, everyone helps Angelo rebuild his shop. While reviewing CCTV footage, Gio spots a black car used by the arsonists. He asks his officers to trace the car and file a case. Meanwhile, Robert meets Amina at the cafe and she asks him out to dinner. We then see Robert and Amina walking through the town, talking and eating together. The next day, when Robert goes to the cafe, he sees Emma, who is secretly taking his picture. Robert asks her, "Are you taking my photo?" Emma realizes that Robert is the man she has been looking for. Emma approaches Robert and says she could have brought the police to arrest him but chose not to. Robert tells her she doesn't scare him. Emma then says they found many bodies at the winery and asks if he killed them all. Robert replies that he's an old man and doesn't have the strength to kill people. Emma tells Robert to stay in the city and leaves. Elsewhere, we see Gio picking up his daughter, Gabriella, from school. He gets a call from one of Marco's men who threatens to kill his daughter. Gio asks the teacher about Gabriella, who says that some officers took her away a short time ago. Hearing this, Gio goes straight to his house, where Marco is waiting with his men. Marco beats Gio severely, threatening to kill his entire family if he interferes with his business again. Afterwards, Gio goes to Enzo to get his injuries treated. After Gio leaves, Robert tries to ask Enzo who did this to him. Enzo tells him it's the work of the local gangsters. Robert decides to fight back against them and begins practicing his fighting skills. During this time, Emma visits him and says she tried to find information about him, but came up with nothing. She also asks if he plans to do something about the gangster Vincent who lives there, but Robert doesn't answer. Later that night, Gio is having dinner with his family when Marco and his men arrive. Marco again threatens Gio, telling him, "From now on, you will work for me." Then, Marco's eyes fall on Robert, who is staring at him. This angers Marco, and he starts threatening Robert. Robert tells Marco he should leave, or he will give him a pain he can't bear. Marco and his men laugh at this. As Marco reaches for Robert, Robert grabs his hand and twists it, causing Marco immense pain. Seeing this, Marco's men try to help him. Robert tells Marco to order his men to leave, or he will kill him. In great pain, Marco tells his men to go outside. Robert then tells Marco to put his gun on the table and leave. Because he was insulted in front of the townspeople, Marco decides to kill Robert. He tells his men they will kill the old man first, and then everyone else in the cafe. Suddenly, a car swerves towards Marco, hitting and killing one of his men. Robert then appears, revealing he was the one who sent the car. Robert kills Marco's other man. Marco pulls out a knife and approaches Robert, but Robert overpowers him and stabs him multiple times, killing him. The next morning, the police find the bodies of Marco and his 2 men, along with some drugs near Marco. At the same time, a major explosion occurs in the city of Rome. It is revealed that gangsters used the money from drug sales to carry out the bombing. Frank calls Emma and tells her to uncover the truth, as this drug case is linked to Lorenzo's winery. Emma goes to meet the police chief and gives him a file with the names of some criminals she wants to question for the case. The chief takes her to one of the criminals. Emma questions him about the bombing, and he gives her a location. The police raid the location and kill the people there, as they were all involved in the blast. Meanwhile, the police chief visits Vincent's house, where everyone is mourning Marco's death. We then learn that the chief works for Vincent. The chief tells Vincent that the CIA is in town. He advises Vincent to stop his illegal activities for a while and hide. Vincent dislikes this idea and says he isn't afraid of anyone. The chief scolds him, saying that he will get caught along with Vincent. This enrages Vincent, who cuts the chief's wrist and tells him, "Right now, I only need to find my brother's killer, and you will help me. Otherwise, I will kill you." Meanwhile, Robert calls Emma and warns her that the people she is looking for are very dangerous, so she needs to be careful. As Emma walks to her car, it explodes, and she is badly injured. Frank visits her in the hospital and promises he will uncover the truth soon. Vincent arrives in the Sicilian town with his team. He grabs Gio and forces him to sit in the middle of the town square. He then shouts, asking who killed his brother. Hearing his voice, everyone comes outside. Vincent tells them that if his brother's killer doesn't come forward, he will kill Gio, and then everyone else, one by one. He fires a shot near Gio's ear, which makes Robert shout, "I killed your brother because he was harassing these people." Robert then steps in front of Vincent, holding two guns. He tells Vincent that if he wants to kill him, he should do it, but not here. Vincent replies, "There could be no better place to kill you because I want to teach these people a lesson that messing with me is a bad idea." He aims his gun at Robert, but before Vincent can shoot, Enzo arrives and fires a shot in the air. Enzo then tells Vincent, "You cannot kill Robert because he is part of our family." Hearing this, all the townspeople step forward, turn on their phone lights, and declare that they will not let him kill Robert. Vincent backs down, tells Robert his time is good for now, but he will return to kill him and everyone else. With that, Vincent leaves with his men and begins planning to kill everyone in the town. Later, Vincent goes to sleep while his men stand guard outside. One of Vincent's men hears a noise near a car and goes to investigate. Robert suddenly attacks and kills him. Robert realized that Vincent would attack the town in the morning, so he came at night to kill Vincent and his men. Robert enters the house, turns off the lights, and proceeds to kill 3 more of Vincent's men. Next, Robert kills the man watching the CCTV footage. Meanwhile, a drop of blood falls on Vincent's head. Suddenly, the glass ceiling above him shatters, and one of his dead men hangs down. Vincent now understands someone is killing his men, and he becomes terrified. Vincent carefully walks over broken glass to get his gun. As he comes out of the room, Robert attacks and knocks him unconscious. When Vincent wakes up, he finds himself tied up with wires. Robert tells him he has only 6 minutes to live because he has been given a drug, the same drug Vincent sold to innocent people, causing many deaths. Robert then unties him and tells him to go to a hospital to save his life. Vincent starts running, with Robert following him. Just as Vincent gets outside, he is hit by a car, making his condition even worse. Soon after, Vincent dies and Robert leaves. Meanwhile, the police raid Vincent's hideouts and arrest people connected to the drug trade. We then see Robert visiting Emma in the hospital. Emma tells Robert that she wouldn't be alive if it weren't for him, and thanks him. Robert gives Emma a bag full of money. He asks Emma to give this bag to an old man living in Boston. It turns out the money was the old man's pension, which someone had stolen from his account. Robert explains that tracing this money led him to the winery, where he killed the gangster. He then took the old man's stolen money from the winery's safe and left. Emma asks Robert who the old man is to him. Robert replies that he had only met the man once. A few days later, Emma goes to Boston and gives the old man his money. The old man cries and says that if he hadn't gotten this money back, his house would have been sold, and his family would have been homeless. In the end, we see Emma in her office. Robert has sent her an envelope. Inside is a diary belonging to Emma's mother, revealing that Emma's parents were Robert's best friends. Emma is very happy reading her mother's diary. Elsewhere, we see the people of the Sicilian town celebrating their football team's victory. Robert is also there, having decided to live in the town because he has grown to love the people. And with that, the story ends.